This is the Effing Business Podcast. You ask the questions, we answer them.
Aaron, episode 30. We're back on our new set.
Yep. We improved it a little bit. I think the lights now work in the front.
Yep.
We have a carpet.
I did the lighting today.
I don't know what that thing is over your shoulder.
It's a thingamajigger. All right, so Jack Ma is trending right now. And why is he trending? He's trending because you want to work for him. It's a 12-hour workday. It's 9 to 9 every day, 6 days a week.
Considering that some members of our studio audience didn't know who Jack Ma was, do you want to...
Jack Ma is the CEO and founder of Alibaba. Alibaba is like wholesale Amazon.
So it's like a kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. I think it's like one of the largest companies in the world.
And it's located in China.
China. All right. So now we got all the details out. I want to talk about it because I think that it is really hard, especially in America, and maybe it's different in China, to impose what I would say something of working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Working 12 hours a day?
12 hours a day, 9 to 9.
6 days a week.
6 days a week to be...
Which I'd like to do myself.
I hear you. But in America, that would be seen as entrepreneurial, and you wouldn't be an employee, or you'd be a high-ranking employee, maybe not the guy who ships out stuff, right? So you're working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. You those kind of people either are high-level executives, where they're getting paid to put in those hours anyway, or they have an entrepreneurial spirit, they're working for themselves, and they're busting ass to get there. So is it something that only works, that would work in China? Or is it something that could work in America? And if not 9 hours,
so how many
12 hours.
Are we talking about? We're talking about like the C-suite,
company.
The entire company.
Yeah, to work at Alibaba, according to the article that I read, is you have to be willing to work 12-hour days, 9 to 9, 6 days a week.
Are there laws in China, like so here you have to be above a certain threshold, and there's a couple of different requirements where you have to earn a certain amount to not be entitled to overtime. So is that kind of what's going on in China, or there are just no labor laws in China and they can
I don't really know. I just think the concept really is what I want to talk about. Is more about the idea of making people do that. And I mean, I'm sure plenty of people are signing up for work on all different levels at his company, where I'm sure there's other companies, because he's imposing it, that don't ask you to work 12 hours a day.
I think it would be nice to build a company with people who want to do that.
Right.
I just think that's really difficult.
Why? In America?
Regardless of the law, I just don't know how many people want to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Because of what? Mindset?
Correct. I mean, I don't even know the year this happened, but when the unions got together and they had like 8 hours for work, 8 hours for sleep, and 8 hours to do what we will, right? So like the idea that we can use our weekends seem to be really important in America. Everybody has plans and all that kind of stuff. When you have an extended weekend, there's a holiday weekend,
I hate those.
So do I.
Especially when it's on the weekend and then they give you off Monday.
Well, that's a whole other podcast potentially, but I think that it's become part of the American way of thinking. How do you go to people? How do you find enough people who you can say, this is how this works? And they'll buy into that. Why would they just do that for themselves?
So it used to be, what can I do for you, Mr. Company? What could I do for the company?
Correct. Now it's what can you do for me?
What can the company do for me?
Correct.
To make me
When
better?
I wanted to put that on the wall, you guys didn't let that. You shut me down.
What?
Like the playoff JFK's.
Don't ask what your country could do for you.
Right. Don't ask, but I want to swap out company for a country.
We can put it up. I agree
All
with
right.
you.
Okay, we're doing that now. It took a year to get approval.
So I think in America, and I think with companies, it's really hard. And I mean, it's great that all employees feel this way and want this, but like I think it's really difficult because of work life, culture, and so on, to impose and to ask or force, even without laws. Let's say it was allowed, to force that culture upon employees because they're not seeing the benefits right away. Right, where entrepreneurs
is Alibaba known for being like a really high paying company? Do they do things differently beyond?
I don't know that.
So they may just be the same as everybody else, but these are the hours that if you want to work here, this is what you have to do.
Correct.
Wow.
So it's a mindset, it's a culture. If you want to work here, these are the rules, and if you don't want to work here, that's fine. You can work at other companies, I'm sure. So I would love for that to happen, because that would mean you'd have 4 extra hours from every single employee every single day. Fine, even if 5 days a week, not 6 days a week.
I wonder if there's like any studies done, right, that kind of show when people check out, right? So you might be here, you might be at your desk, but you may not be working.
What hours are they like mentally fatigued?
Correct. Like at some point, you're tired. Like you and I, previous to starting our own company, worked elsewhere, and he required really long hours. And now that I think about it, he probably had like a mass amount of labor violations. That's another story. But like we couldn't wait to go home at 9 o'clock at night. right?
Right.
We had. I mean, you kind of snuck out. You were a little different, but like I followed the rules, right? And like I'd get in the next day at 9, and it just felt like I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to work for that company. I didn't like what I
Right.
was doing. I didn't have any training.
So you
It was-
think, did
I
he
was
create a
21.
culture where people want to be there?
Oh
12
no,
hours
the
a day?
exact opposite.
No. Does Alibaba create a culture where they want to be there 12 hours a day? Right. I'm sure at Google people are there 12 hours a day, but they don't think about it. Right. So they go there.
Right.
They're able to control their life all from there. Their dry cleaning's done. They have kid services. They have meals, so on and so forth. The doctors are there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing they have to leave the compound for.
So you're saying that they might have a similar culture at Alibaba, and therefore the 12 hours doesn't feel
right,
like
but
12
he just
hours.
makes it a rule. Where
Gotcha.
there, Google is created as almost like, hey, we need X done.
Right, do it.
I need it done by
Right.
X time.
We care more about the
I don't
project
care if
than
it
the amount
takes
of time
you're
you
able to
spend.
get it done in one day or you're able to get it done
Right.
in 24 hours. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Correct. And then there's a lot of other things, like we don't know what the Chinese labor market looks like. I don't know what the unemployment rate is. You know, are there people looking for a job? Are you chasing people there?
so they'll have they
Right,
say,
the
all right,
pool, the
this or
employment
unemployed,
pool,
I'll take this.
Correct, might be very different, right? You
True.
have a huge amount of people in China, so I just think that it's probably hard today to find a lot of people, at least in the United States, who want to do that want to put in those kind of hours.
Do you think not enforcing, but maybe putting it out there, not 12-hour days, but even 10-hour days, or like say employees are like children or anything like that, but like the best example is like a STAR program, and in school, you have the STAR chart,
Right.
get more stars and so on and so forth. Is it just like a lack of people don't care? Like I'm here.
I don't know it's what you said before. I don't know what the culture like is in China. Today in modern day America, you're chasing the employee with what can we offer them? What are the incentives? Whereas it's not the other way around, right? Like you come in and you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and 10 whatever amount of years later you're
Right.
you're higher up in the hierarchy of the company. I don't know what it's like there, but I just can't imagine with our culture here today that people want to do that.
I mean, people don't. I mean, it's just
That you're going to find enough people who want to do that. Maybe middle of America, right? They still have like that hard work mentality. Not that people on the coast don't work hard, but like they have that like very old school American way. Maybe there you'll find that, but I don't think you're going to be able to build a company of many people with that kind of mindset and attitude.
So do you
I think those people with that mindset and attitude start their own companies. That's entrepreneurs.
right. What about in America? Could there be a 4-day-a-week, 12-hour day? So it's 48 hours instead
Right.
of 40.
So I actually
but
showed
you
you
get more of a weekend.
I showed you an article a couple of years ago about I don't know if they were a surf shop or what they were, like I think somewhere in San Diego, where they worked from 7 a.m. I think to 3 p.m. No lunch break. Your lunch at your desk, but after 3 p.m. unless like they had a specific project or had a tight time frame,
right.
deadline, whatever it was, like you were done. So from 3 p.m. you were done the rest of the day. So they basically shifted the 8 hours. Right, earlier you were like hyper focused, you got your work done, and you moved on. And every now and then, when they had projects and they had deadlines, like you said, they asked people to stay a little longer, or they moved their hours around. But they didn't have.
I'm not even saying move your hours. I'm saying asking every person to work 48 hours a week, right? But have a longer weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You see that already. My sister's a nurse. You see people in the medical industry.
That's because there's rules within that, right? They can't work certain amounts.
Right.
Like truckers can't work.
But that goes back
can't drive more than 8 hours straight or 12 hours straight.
my previous question. Like, where's the point where people say, I don't want to do this. I'm fatigued. I'm tired. I've been here. I don't know if it's dark outside. It's light outside. I want to just, I want to shut off already. Like for some people, there gets to a point, or for most people, there gets to a point, and they want to kind of move on, rest, see family, that kind of stuff. I think millennials want more work-life balance, more high quality of life kind of thing than previous generations. I think we're for the most part in industries that can manage this. We're going away from time and more project-based. So you get your work done, we don't care. If this is the amount of time you have to do it. If you get it done sooner, you're good to go, kind of thing. I think that's some of the change that we're seeing now.
Then do companies then take advantage of that, right, and just give you more projects?
Part of the flaw in having people work, on a time schedule from 9 to 5 or whatever it is that there's inherent flaws in how long it takes for things to get done. We've trained people around hours, right? So until we can figure out what the standard time frame for projects are, we're going to be stuck with these hours. Slowly we'll move away from that. We'll move to project-based. Mm-hmm. If you have a skill today,
side hustle, yeah.
But it's not even your side hustle anymore. It becomes your main hustle. If you have a skill today, you're probably like a in-demand skill. You're probably not going to go work for a company.
Right.
You're going to work for multiple companies from your couch at home or,
Right.
or wherever you want to do it, right? So I think that's kind of, we used to call that outsourcing. I think that's just going to become part of how business works.
Very true. Okay. So I think we've discussed this a lot. We'll wrap it up now. Episode 30 in the books on our new set here. And everyone have a great day.